Ghost towns aren't only found in movies. All across the world, there are mysterious abandoned cities that stand as threatening time capsules and attract thousands of tourists. While visiting these empty, under-the-radar places may not currently be possible in person, no time is the wrong time to start dreaming, right? From the modern city of Ordos to a 1,000-year-old town of Krakow, let's have a look at the largest abandoned cities in the world. But before we get into that, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Number 5. Hashima Island, Japan. This list could be filled with abandoned cities from just the continent of Asia. One of the biggest and most abandoned cities in Japan, and is commonly known as Hashima or Gunkanjima, meaning Battleship Island. Hashima is actually an abandoned island located off the coast of Nagasaki. Sadly, the battleship doesn't turn into a transformer, as you would normally expect from an island in Japan. Hashima is home to a population of exactly 0, but it wasn't always like that. Originally developed as a residence for people working in the undersea coal mines in 1887, Hashima Island quickly expanded into an island of concrete high-rise buildings housing over 5,000 people. In addition to the usual community buildings, this island fortress featured a clubhouse, movie theater, communal bath, swimming pool, rooftop gardens, stores, and even pachinko parlor. The mine eventually closed in 1974 when Japan moved away from the coal power, and with the jobs went the residents. Hashima Island was also featured as a villain's lair in the James Bond movie Skyfall. Number 4. Ashgabat, Turkmenistan. When we said this list could be filled with abandoned cities from Asia, we were not joking. If you take a quick look at the city, you would be convinced that it is not a ghost town. Instead, there is just a lockdown in the city. Turkmenistan is a former Soviet Union country with a leader that has been compared to North Korea's Kim Jong-un. President Saparmurat Niyazov planned to create a golden era of Turkmenistan in 1991 with the building of Ashgabat. He did so by erecting buildings that broke records, like becoming the city with the most marble buildings in the world. In fact, the city, which is 4.5 million square kilometers, has 543 buildings made of luxury material. Ashgabat also has the world's largest Ferris wheel. It was once hailed as a potential tourist city like Las Vegas, but it turned out to be more like Centralia in Pennsylvania. Today, the city is largely a ghost town because of the country's isolated culture. Turkmenistan is one of the least visited countries in the world. Number 3. North Brother Island, New York. An abandoned island near New York City? We know you didn't expect this from the list. This 20-acre island in the East River was built up because of its isolation. Riverside Hospital was built here in the late 1800s to quarantine people with smallpox. It was even the home of Typhoid Mary during her final years. By the 60s, it was abandoned, leaving the trees to take over the buildings. The city has restricted access to the island, and potential visitors have to apply and be accepted before attempting to set foot on the island. Although the New York City Parks Department oversees the property, it's not inhabited yet. There have been proposals by architects and politicians for using the space, but nothing's flown yet. Maybe it's time to bring this island back to life. Number 2. Ballastrino, Italy. Despite its stunningly beautiful structures that are still standing, it would take a lot of cash to rebuild this Italian town 40 miles south of Genoa. The medieval hilltop town of Ballastrino was abandoned in 1953, following a number of earthquakes, though the new town with the same name below it remains home to several hundred people. To make the town livable again, it would also require tinkering with Mother Earth. The real reason only about 600 people live here is that everyone else fled during the 1950s due to the serious threat of landslides and coastal erosion. It's fenced off, so you can't explore it, but the churches of St. George and St. Andrew and the Byzantine castle of Del Corredo can be spotted from the surrounding countryside. There is another famous medieval abandoned city in Italy known as Krakow. It dates back to, well, the year 1060. Throughout its 1,000-year history, Krakow saw many conflicts between monarchs, armies, and political ideologies. In 1963, the last 1,800 residents were forced to leave Krakow for their own safety and were relocated to a new town with the same name. Despite being abandoned, Krakow remains one of Italy's popular tourist destinations. Films such as Quantum of Solace and The Passion of the Christ have used the Italian ghost town to provide a spectacular and authentic setting to their stories. Number 1. Ordos Kembashi, China. This is not just a ghost town, this is a ghost utopia. China is home to many of the world's biggest ghost towns, but Ordos Kembashi takes the cake. Located in Inner Magnolia, Ordos was built to be a modern city with state-of-the-art architecture, large stadiums, and gorgeous public spaces. The city achieved all that in just under 10 years, but it failed to attract people. It was built to house over 1 million people, but only 70,000 people moved into the city. Eventually, those people started to move out as well. The city stopped building and went bankrupt. Today, it is largely a ghost town, with most of the buildings completely empty. A journalist in 2009 stumbled upon Ordos Kembashi and exposed China's problem with ghost cities. That is our list of the largest abandoned cities in the world. Which of these would you like to visit first? Let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.